All right, welcome to Forgotten Legends of Sound. Today we are going to run through Metal Church, and it's my pick today, so this is what I picked. I did. Anyways, the reason why
church.
the reason why I wanted to do this album is because I wanted to do something a little more heavy metal, thrash metal. Like, I don't view this as like super thrashy, but it's got that secondary kind of light thrash thing going there.
A little sprinkled in there,
Yeah, a little sprinkled in thrash. And I've been thinking a lot about 70,000 Tons of Metal lately, and so I haven't been a Metal Church fan for a very long time. I got into them around 2018 or so. I saw Mike Rowe perform at the Roger Waters, like Metal on Waters, little, not like a karaoke thing, but they would cover like different songs and
metal songs.
Yeah, and different like band members would play together, and anyways, and so I was impressed with Metal Church, and I had heard of them before, but I'd never really like gotten into them, and so I got into this album and their second album a lot, and really enjoyed it. And it's kind of weird because it's like when Mike Rowe passed away, he was one of those people in metal that I personally didn't really know real well, but it bothered me, and I was just kind of like, man, I want to get more into like Metal Church and whatnot. So I'm like sharing this because I think that, if you haven't heard of this band, definitely check out this band. These first two albums don't have Mike Rowe on it, but it just, like I said, Metal Church, 70,000 Tons of Metal, the whole thing's kind of been in my head lately. And one of these days, I think we will do like I'll do a story where I just share the whole 70,000 Tons of Metal experience, but that'll probably be down the road or whatever. So anyways, yeah, like I said, I haven't been into these guys for a long time, probably about 5 years now. Yeah, I'm looking forward to going into it.
Yeah. I know you picked up these first two albums. Did you pick them up like a Sound Exchange or something? Or when did you pick these up? Because I felt like you were into Metal Church a lot longer than
Right.
I don't know, but I just know I've only listened to these two albums like a little bit, and I've mostly like listened to them from you playing them and stuff.
Like around you, yeah.
I was kind of it's funny because like I've always liked heavy metal, thrash metal, and stuff, but the resurgence for me was really in the last like 3 years when I started kind of like, man, I really want to get more into all these like albums that I have kind of been ignoring the last 15 years,
Right,
So
right.
this is one of the bands that for me was on the back burner for a long time, and you're kind of the person to push them. So I think it'll be good. Like I think there might be a little bit of stuff I'm familiar with it, but there's gonna be a ton of stuff that's gonna be new and stuff. So yeah, it'll be kind of cool to do some more traditional 80s kind of not straight up traditional metal, but something more old school.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Did you want to add anything, Chad?
Am I misremembering? Did we actually do this album like 3 years ago when I was last here?
I thought we did.
I definitely remember like there was a certain song that just like stuck with me.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if we did the whole album or not. And I know I listened to it a couple times, but it's been like 2 years since.
Was it that Ton of Bricks song or?
It's like
man, I'm thinking it's a little yeah. I played In the Dark. I played that. I don't think we did like lyrics, but I think I played the album just around us. And I've played some of this album around you as well. But yeah, and so I feel you've had some exposure to them just here and there. But yeah. I don't really have much more to add, honestly. Unless you guys have anything to add, we might as well.
Let's just get going with the music. It'll be interesting what stuff sticks out with me and Chad, and you'll be able to provide more deeper kind of analysis.
And again, try and support the artists, guys. Buy their albums, get into them, and this channel. Hopefully, we want to keep certain bands like alive, keep them going, give them some motivation, encouragement, because we never know all of the hours that these bands spend
blood, sweat, and tears,
like getting into it. And these guys have been around for forever, so it's kind of like they give us encouragement in our lives, and we really resonate and like, oh, this is great. And then this is kind of our way to kind of give back a little bit and just show our appreciation. So anyways, yeah, check it out, buy their stuff if you're into it. So yeah,
cool. Right, you guys ready?
Yeah,
let's do it.
Let's
All
do
right,
it.
here is Beyond the Black from Metal Church's first album.
Oh
Cool.
man. Whew.
You go first with this, bro.
I think that's a very solid starting song. A track one, get you into it. I like that it starts off, very quiet, mysterious, while they got that kind of talking section going. Yeah. And then when they start going into it, it's like, yeah. I'm going to give it a 9.5. I'm not sure if I'd give it a 10 masterpiece, but it's pretty darn good. They've got, to me, this song is kind of a first half and a second half. The second half is kind of more and just kind of riding on and rocking out, But that first half is very rhythmic. And I'm like, I really like that first half a lot. I like the second half, but man, I part of me wonders if I would have enjoyed it if they somehow went back to, maybe do the soloing and stuff, then have the drummer start going, and then maybe go back into more soloing or something. I don't know. I mean, it's still a fantastic song, but I wanted to revisit that rhythm section, that rhythm, anyways. Yeah, great. Vocals are great. I like the drummer in this band. I think he's pretty cool. Guitars are great. Yeah, not really any complaints.
Oh, are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
And dude, 1984. Like,
yeah,
we weren't even alive yet.
Yeah.
These guys are freaking just. I feel like there's just gonna be so many awesome riffs throughout this. Like, I'm definitely looking forward to this. The voice, like, it's not like it bothers me or anything, but you can just, you can tell it's a little older. But man, I guess for the opener, like you mentioned, like the mysterious kind of setting the mood and then rock it out. Like, I thought it was a pretty awesome opener. Man, what do I want to give it though? Let's go with I'm gonna give that an 8. I really did like that song.
Does this feel like just a lot more heavy metal? Than just kind of yeah. Like, oh, go ahead, bro.
Oh, I was just taking a breath, but I think that to me it felt like it still felt very thrashy to me. I don't know. Mostly because like I felt like lyrically and just style wise and the soloing,
especially
like
lyrically.
It still seemed. I mean, granted, it wasn't as maybe as intense or whatever as like Ride the Lightning or like Show No Mercy. It was not as like brutal and stuff, but it still felt very like I guess thrashish to me.
Right.
I guess because I always think of like heavy metal as like just the heavy metal bands we always think of, and this is like much heavier. Or
I will say guitar wise it's not like not really like having a good time. It's much more darker.
Like the riffs seem more like thrash riffs instead of
I see
like
what you mean.
Judas Priest like
heavy
metal riffs,
higher register kind
Plus,
of riffs.
the fact that the song was much longer, it was like a 6-minute whatever song.
I
felt like, I don't know, it seemed like thrash kind of took that and made everything a little bit more
condensed it down and just faster,
or just like made it like long, because like I mean I'm thinking about like the Metallica album, like those songs are pretty long.
No, that's not
like no, like they kind of like they took the like heavy metal formula, but then they made it heavier, but they also made it more, I don't want to say epic, but in a way just more.
It does sound darker than like what you think of for regular heavy metal. Like it does sound a little darker. So I feel like this would be a great band for people that are into like thrash. I feel like if there's a guy who's like, oh, Destruction, Creator, Slayer, I feel like that kind of thrash guy versus the melodic Megadeth, Testament guy, the heavier guy would probably enjoy this, and this could be a nice gateway to get more into, you know what I mean, like, because it's not as heavy as all that stuff, but it's still like it still sounds
heavy
mean
enough.
Still sounds a little mean.
I think I might give it an 8 as well. I felt like the first half of the song was more like a 9 for me. I love when they did that little change thing where they went a little lower, like or whatever, I thought that was really cool, and I like the mysterious vibe. The last like couple minutes when they're just kind of rocking out went on a little bit too long for me,
I can see it.
But it was still like some cool playing, and it was like some cool guitar stuff, and I think the vocalist was good. Another thing too is like I'm not coming at this with years of appreciation, like so it's hard for me to just be like, oh man, every time they do that.
I've been into this the longest. 4 years.
4 years. You know what I mean? Like,
it's kind of newer.
I totally get if someone loves this and they're like, dude, no. Man, Metal Church is freaking, while you were in your diapers listening to Ride the Lightning, I was listening to Metal Church.
Around your dad's balls.
I was just like, and it's cool hearing like the stuff outside of like the Big Four. Like, you get tired of doing the Big Four all the time And it's like, oh yeah, other people.
Anthrax. It's just for another day. But
yeah, but anyway, so kind of cool to listen to. But I'm looking forward to the rest of it.
Yeah.
Should we move on to the next one? Or?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Here is Metal Church.
That's so freaking.
That's metal.
That's so freaking cool. All right, Chad.
oh man, yeah, that was pretty awesome for me. Let's I'm going with a 10 on that one. I really did enjoy that freaking song, dude. And just that riff is just freaking awesome. The lyrics are just fun. Even the chorus was cool. Like, and still his voice, like I could see like some people like, oh, it's goofy, but it's freaking badass. Like,
There's no way around it.
Like, yeah, and I don't know, and just I guess like if something came out like this now, I probably wouldn't be as excited about it or like, oh, dude, but yeah, just knowing that this was kind of like the start of stuff and just people just being metal in the freaking 80s, man, and then like bringing to what we have now, just I don't know, I think that plays a role in like how I'm gonna rate this too. So yeah, a 10. That song was freaking banger.
Banger. Yeah, I'm feeling a 10 too. It's a great freaking riff.
Yeah,
and I also kind of like their restraint in the song too.
Yeah.
Like kind of like how it took a while to build up, before they go in. It's almost like they're like, hold on. Everybody, hold on. We're going to get
do
to the
this in a
awesome
minute.
part. We'll do this in a minute. Yeah, like, it's like, it's just, there was like a lot of restraint and it kind of built up the excitement for it because we all knew what was coming.
Yeah.
And then when it comes in, it was just like, there it is, right there, and I thought the chorus was cool, yeah, kind of just usual metal trope kind of lyrics and stuff, but it's just like that's the time, and that's cool. I also like the soloing in the song. I thought the soloing was pretty cool too. There's a lot of cool playing, and I mean the guitarist and the drummer seem to be like really. They all seem like very talented, metal musicians.
Very well together and stuff.
They sound great together. Like it's too bad that we can't have it even louder.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of bummed out because
yeah, to crank it. But the CD's like kind of old, and this is like ripped from the CD, so it's just kind of But yeah, I give it a 10. That was a great song.
Yeah, I'll give it a 10 as well. I feel like this. It's funny because when you listen to a lot of like metal music, there's certain albums, certain songs, and things that you're just like, that belongs to like metal history. That is such an important song. And I feel like Metal Church doesn't really get that recognition. And I feel like this is the song that belongs in like metal history. It's just such a good riff. Yeah. And I'm just kind of like, dang man, like it's hard, especially when you've heard a lot of stuff, to be surprised. And when I was getting into these guys 4 or 5 years ago, I was like, oh dude, and I was like listening to it and I was just like, man, this is some good stuff. And it really surprised me,
This cover arts are also really sick.
I know, it just looks
kind of cool.
It looks like Yngwie Malmsteen or something.
It does,
I haven't seen many of his covers, but yeah, dude,
definitely, that's kind of cool art.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic song. I got not a whole lot more to add, but yeah, great song.
Yeah. You guys ready for the instrumental? We're just doing the instrumental by itself, right?
Yeah, we'll count it. We'll rank it because it's long enough.
Okay. Here is Merciless Onslaught.
Yeah. I guess real quick, one thing I like about this drummer is he uses an open hi-hat a lot. And I kind of like that. I like the open hi-hat. In a thrash heavy metal setting.
Yeah.
Like
what's for like the untrained ear? What exactly is like the open hi-hat? What's kind of the difference when it's closed?
So when he's hitting the hi-hat, when it's closed, it's more of a subdued kind of. But then when he opens it, it's like.
Okay.
So it rings out, and then he closes it again to stop it from ringing out. So open, close, ring out, not ring out.
Okay.
So he'll sit there. And yeah, and even with some of his like fills, he'll sit here and he'll keep his quarter notes with the hi-hat, like when he's like to keep him on time. And a lot of drummers, that's the way you learn how to play drums, especially back then. Like when you're doing a fill, you keep your time with your left foot with the hi-hat quarter note, so you'll hear stuff like and then they go back, and anyways, there's a little bit of like a jazz kind of thing, like a lot of the jazz drummers constant open and close, so it's just it's kind of a sign of the times. Modern drummers today don't do it as much for fills, but it used to be like the norm. Anyways, a little bit of drum history. What do you think of that song, Ian?
You know, that one was pretty enjoyable. It was pretty enjoyable, and it made me a little bit nostalgic, I guess, because, like, I don't know,
when
it's
instrumentals
like,
were awesome.
Yeah, like, when instrumentals were cool. Like, I don't know, I wanted to ask you guys, does it seem like people don't make cool instrumental metal stuff anymore?
That's what I kind of feel like. I kind of feel that way.
Yeah.
Because I haven't heard, like, a newer band where I'm just like, oh, dude, that instrumental is just freaking so sick.
Yeah.
I did like Enforcer's instrumental, like what was that?
What album was that?
On From Beyond, Far Beyond, From Beyond,
From Beyond. You know,
I'm like thinking H.P. Lovecraft. You know?
No.
Anyways, what was that? Track 6?
Something like that. Yeah.
It's like Hungry They Will Come or something. Like,
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it was like track 6. Or
Other than that,
maybe
though,
7?
nobody
6.
does like instrumentals
yeah.
anymore. But no, but yeah, it made me a little nostalgic for it,
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like...
Sorry,
in the old days-
I didn't mean to jump in and be like, actually, there's this
Yeah,
one.
no, it's,
You know,
it's
but-
totally fine.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I know what you mean.
It seems like something that's really from the 80s and maybe early 90s. And yeah, part of me wants to give it an 8, but I think I'm going to go 7.5. No, I'm doing an 8. I'm doing an 8, okay? Like, we're doing 8 here. Because, I don't know, there was just something that was kind of cool about it. And I liked how the guitars ring out and the drum keeps going. And it was just, it was a very fun song, but...
And just the title, Merciless Onslaught, just, dude, yeah.
Yeah, the title makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
I'll give it an 8.5. I think maybe I would have enjoyed a little more soloing or something. A little more like just moments that really just made me like, oh yeah. But it's generally a good mood. It's a good, just kind of rocking and rolling and just going with it. So I enjoy it, and I definitely enjoy it in the context of the album. You know, I think it's a great little instrumental. So
Yeah, definitely not gonna skip it. Like
yeah, exactly. It doesn't overstay its welcome. You know. Yeah.
I guess I don't have much else to add because man, I think I'm gonna go with an 8.5 too. I wasn't sure. Yeah, 8.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty enjoyable.
Yeah.
Should we move on to Gods of Wrath?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it.
Looks like we lost our daylight.
I know.
What are you gonna do?
Darkness.
The darkness coming.
No, it's
Like-
full. It's full attention time.
Yeah, it's full attention time, and it's freaking hitting like a ton of bricks. Oh my gosh, dang.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna
your
give
turn,
that one a
Kevin.
10. This is probably like I go back between track 2 and track 4 on like my favorite on this album. I really like this song because it's a little more emotional, it's a little more moody, and I like the quiet sections and then just building up. Going right into the Gods of Wrath. I'm just like, dude, it's so good. And that solo section was great. By the way, I complain a lot about like solo sections when the rhythm section is not doing well.
Something interesting, yeah.
Like if you want to hear a good rhythm section with the soloing part, like that song has a great rhythm along with the soloing part. Like they just did a great job with that solo section, and man, I love that mean riff on track 2. But this song is a little more maybe sing-songy, a little more like I can get more. It's more melodic, and I like more melodic stuff. But like they just did a great job. So take it away, Chad.
Yep, 10. And it was really cool to hear him do like the clean singing too, because you can hear like this dude's obviously a really good vocalist. Like well, and to me, anyways. But and dude, like it takes you on a journey. No, like I did like the softer parts, the singing, and then like even some of like the soloing and some of that stuff is like this moody. Yeah, I feel like I'm just repeating kind of what you said, but yeah, dude. 10, that crap blew me away.
Can I add something real quick? Like, when he's singing like 1,000 other people, oh, when we gonna, like the last little verse section, and he says like, and let it all begin. like he changes his register, it's like, you've always been our friend, none of the same, and let it all begin. Whoa, whoa. And then it's just like, it's little touches like that for a vocalist that I'm like, I'm paying attention to their inflections. I'm paying attention when they go gruff, not gruff,
I am too.
I
just
like,
not when you're playing it out loud. No, I'm just ignoring it.
I like when a vocalist has his own personality, and so anyways, just wanted to add that. But.
Yeah. I'm probably just gonna repeat what you guys said, but I think it's a 10. That was a really good song. The rhythm in that song was so good. I love the little kick that they have. Like You know, like even in the in the verse sections, if it was just like thousands of
Oh yeah, if they did it slow. Yeah, I don't know.
I just wouldn't. I like grooving along with it, you know. I mean,
right.
it'd be like them doing more Black Sabbath if they're doing like a slow. If it was just like thousands of the angels. I mean, and it's like that could be another thing, like you're building atmosphere and whatnot, you know.
Yeah.
And that's like kind of cool sometimes too. But the fact that they just kind of like grooving along while the drums are just kind of going during that soft part, I think it's like kind of cool. I really like that. And then of course when the guitar, you know, everyone comes in and it's all heavy and stuff, like it's just so cool. And then that, I love how they begin the freaking chorus with him just going. And I'm like,
it sounds a little like, I mean, these guys like Deep Purple, and it sounds similar to you know, Smoke on Water a little bit. You know, that riff. You know, and you know, the last track is Highway Star, so come on, these guys like Deep Purple.
They have to.
But I still feel like it's still it's like its own thing. You know, but
like I'm amazed. Like I mean, this is like, I don't know if I've even ever gone through this album on my own before. I don't know if I have.
Yeah.
I think I've gone through The Dark with you. Maybe I remember more from that album.
Yeah.
But man, this is really freaking blowing me away, and I feel a little ashamed. I haven't been listening to this for all this time because I'm just like, holy death, this is like an underrated album. Like, my gosh.
Yeah, you never hear anybody, oh, dude, Metal Church. Like, never hear that. Ever.
No.
That's why I wanted to pick this album, because I feel like Metal Church.
It's making sense. Like,
like 80s metals. I'm like, why is it like, I like In the Dark as well, but I feel like I like this one more than In the Dark. And I feel like this is one of those albums that I could, if someone was like, classic heavy metal album you should get into, I would be like, yep. You know? Like, it just,
well, you've converted me and Chad. So, this is and like the last couple of days, like 2 days ago, I went through those 2 Dio albums.
Right.
And there's something about the old school metal sound. The riffs are so original, and it's just so fun. It's just really cool.
Yeah.
And I feel like these guys' riffs are really original, and it's just kind of like, it doesn't feel like they're just copying, or like, you know, maybe it's because of time. Maybe it's because not everybody, like, you know, these guys stole all the glory. There's none of it left for us, you know?
Right.
But either way, though, it's just awesome to hear some really cool kind of ideas and riffs and stuff that from a genre that I feel like I've heard a crap ton from. I feel like I'm a little oversaturated, and I'm just
feels
even
really
more
original.
Yeah, I'm more impressed that these guys are standing out to me when I've heard a ton of
other
heavy metal, thrash, whatever stuff, you know. So I don't know. Not to say I've heard it all, but you know what I mean.
A lot.
I've heard it. I've heard enough to be kind of like, hey, I'm a little bit tired of thrash, guys. You know, like, you know. But this is really good. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it.
Dude,
you know,
it was a good pick.
I'm enjoing it. So let's move on.
Hitman. Here we go.
I think you're gonna like this one's lyrics. No. All right, Chad.
Your turn.
Oh, dude, I think there's some nostalgia coming in on this crap, because like, do you remember like the first time you listened to like Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good, or freaking Skull Beneath the Skin?
Right.
Like, I remember being a little kid and just being like, oh man, I almost feel like some of that's like coming back with this or something, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and just even that song, the lyrics, like, oh man, do I want to give that? It was a little long, but still, dude, a 10, because I was engaged the whole time, man, and it just gave me those, like, being a kid and freaking listening to Megadeth, and like, I think I was just like, oh man,
business is good.
Right?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go 9 for it. Or 9.5. Maybe I'll do it 9 for now. A part of me is like, this album is just freaking awesome, and I like that this song picks it up. You know, it's just like going, and the lyrics were really cool. You know, it's just about like basically Daredevil's opponent, Bullseye.
Yeah,
you know, he's just like, I'm the best. I kill everybody. You know, what do you offer me? You know, and it's just kind of like, this is like, you know, he's just a hitman, and he's just taking people out, and like the way they go in the soloing and like the riffs and stuff, it's just very classic metal, just awesomeness.
Yep.
You know. Take it away.
I'm gonna give it a 9. It's probably like my fourth or fifth favorite. It's not one of my favorites, but man, it's got some good competition. That's the only reason why. There's nothing wrong with the song. I like the lyrics.
Song.
Yeah, 10 might have been a little too high for me, but
sorry. I guess like the reason why it's not a 10 for me is like I feel like the song can at times be a little bit forgettable because it's just kind of running and gunning.
The whole freaking time.
But I mean, it's still pretty good. Some of the rhythm sections like trip me up a little bit. Like I'm like, okay, are you guys on beat? Oh, off beat? Like I thought there was something there. I'd have to hear it again, but kind of interesting. But yeah, I'll give it a 9. I like the chorus, I like the way that the dude's just like, no one will ever know. It was you.
That is cool.
It's got, like, I feel like the song has style, and, like the style points or something, but
maybe I need to bring it up to 9.5.
It's kind of
Those
a cool
lyrics
song,
are
man.
so
I like
good. Nah.
Yeah, I like this song, but it's 9. A 9 for me.
Yeah.
I was sure, dude. There's some nostalgia there. I'm leaving a 10.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. Yeah.
You guys ready for In the Blood?
Yeah.
Yep. Let's do it.
Dude, you guys, I'm sorry. I gotta pee real quick.
All right, bro.
For that one, man, I think I might give it an 8. I do like it. It's funny because as soon as you mentioned King Diamond, I was kind of like, dude, yeah, that's not. If that was on Don't Break the Oath or freaking Melissa, I wouldn't have batted an eye. I would have been like, yeah, more, Merciful Fate, But yeah, it did kind of have that vibe to it when he was doing his falsettos and stuff, you know. It was a good song. I was a little distracted because I was looking up something for Metal Church, but like, it was a really good song. Maybe I'm gonna do 7.5. Just because I can't get, I don't know. It was a great song.
Yeah.
But it didn't blow me away like some of the earlier tracks.
That's kind of how I feel with this song. I'll give it a 7. This song is one of my least favorites on the album. It kind of just runs, does its thing, but it doesn't have like a whole lot of like hooks, a whole lot of like memorable like chorus and stuff. It just kind of, it's like metal here, metal there, metal moment. It's very metal like all the way through.
It's fun, but it's not like special.
Yeah, like when I'm listening, I'm like, oh, it reminds me of this. Oh, it reminds me of that. And it's a kind of cool song, but I'll give it a 7.
Yeah.
All right, Chad, you're up.
Yeah, I guess for that one, dang, 7.5 and 7, huh, guys?
But what did you think?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of my ratings are going to be high for this because it's like, I don't ever see myself being like, oh, it's one of my favorite bands, but like anytime I'm in the mood for like some old school metal, I feel like I'm definitely throwing this crap on, dude.
Yeah, I was kind of curious if so you're both like you would listen to this on your own.
Yeah,
like both,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like,
All right.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Me and Metal Church go.
Yeah, since like a couple, minutes ago.
Like 30 minutes ago.
Well, sometimes there's bands like that where it's like you'll be into a band and you play it around us. But like we hadn't like gotten into it ourselves and stuff, and then sometimes Chad will be really into a band and play it around us, and so it just exactly. It takes a little time sometimes to like
catch up to each other.
Like, because to me, I feel like this is kind of like my band, but I think that like as you guys get into it, you guys will be like as into it as me
and then we'll be like, it's our band.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's some bands that like all of us are like, yep, that one, and we're all like agreed on, and we all
like Symphony X.
To.
You were the one that got into them. You love them the most.
Yeah,
we all love them. They're all awesome.
Yeah. So I'm glad this is like making an impression on you guys though.
Yeah. No, it's pretty good.
Oh man, I don't have a lot to say, but I'm gonna go with an 8. Sorry, I had to
respectable.
Kind of. I think I peed out some of my thoughts.
It's all good.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Just an 8 for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of just a straightforward song.
Yeah.
You guys ready for my favorite Nightmare?
Yeah, let's do it.
Wow.
You're in the blood.
You're in the blood.
Whose turn is it? Probably mine, huh?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, it's mine.
Oh, Kevin's.
Yeah. I'm gonna give that one a 9. I like it similar to Hitman. I think that's a fantastic song. It's short and sweet. It's got that, and it's like it's kind of a cool little song, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. Yeah, it's kind of a cool song. They change it up quite a bit, but yeah, pretty cool.
Oh, they're just doing the drums and the bass part.
Yeah.
Talking about yeah, dude, that was another banger for me. 9.5, like. Yeah, just to the point, little mini horror story, freaking scream. Like, yeah, just, I don't know, dude, just awesome, man, all right? It's awesome.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
And just, yeah, like, and kind of like what you're saying, dude, just the riffs are just freaking, they're really
interesting.
Yeah, just awesome riffs, man.
Yeah, I'm giving that one an 8. I think it's a great song. It'll be interesting to listen to this over and over again and then find which one, like how it kind of really settles. This is just kind of first impressions. But yeah, that was a great song. It was just a little mini nightmare, you know. Yeah, not much to add for it though.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Move on to Battalions.
Woo! Heck yeah, man. Battalions, man.
Wild.
All right, Chad.
Wild.
Man, that didn't sound familiar. Like, let's see. Yeah, dude, just the riffing, the soloing, even just, I like that he's, like, his voice, I like it, but I could see if some people might not dig it, but for me, I'm just like, man, dude, this is pretty awesome, even though, this is like, it's kind of goofy, but kind of awesome at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, man, let's do an 8.5 on that one.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go an 8 with that one. I do like that one, but I don't know if I like it as any more or less than like some of the other ones on the album, you know? But yeah, it's just got that kind of just go out and shred and quality to it. I think it's a pretty cool song.
Rhythmically, it reminds me of that Testament song. How's that one song go? It's like, everyone remember South. What's that one? It's off of Legacy. It's like, everyone remember. It's like,
oh man,
dang, how does that go?
How that goes?
You know what I'm talking about, though,
I
right?
remember that part, but I
that
can't remember what.
Oh man, I'd have to play it, and we're live here, so it's like, I would look it up and play, and then anyways, but then also
over the South.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Anyways, but I'll give this one a 9.5. This is like my third favorite on the album. I really like this song. I like the time will come. You know, it's cool. It keeps me engaged, and for like a 5-minute song, it kind of goes by pretty quick. I want to remember another song when he first comes in. The voices by silence. Who does that sound like? Because it sounds like another band.
To me, it just sounds like power metal kind of stuff. You know, like late 80s kind of power metal stuff.
Like,
I don't know.
This reminded me of like old school Stradivarius, like Twilight Time, like Dream Space type stuff, and it also reminded me of old school Blind Guardian stuff, the more thrashy Blind Guardian. Like it was just a fantastic song. You know, I really liked Battalions. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
But there's
reminds me of old school Blind Guardian.
There's a band I'm leaving out that I feel like reminds me of this a lot, and I'm just like, man. But I feel bad because I'm like, oh yeah, this song sounds like this band and this band and this band and this band, but these guys did it before a lot of these other bands. You know what I mean?
Well,
so
So
the fact that we're just referencing bands, we're doing that for our own fun.
Yeah, to be like,
stuff.
okay, so like,
we're not trying to be like these guys just sound like everybody. You know, it's like,
but I just wonder how. I'm not sure in the 80s, mid to late 80s. I wonder how many bands were influenced by Metal Church. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like were they kind of more of a cult kind of band, or were what I mean? Like
I don't know.
I'm kind of curious. Because I don't really know what kind of how they related with the rest of the metal community. You know,
these guys they're American, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what state they were in, or?
Texas. No, I'm not sure actually. I'm not sure. Yeah,
they're from the state of kicking ass.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, sounds about right.
If I had to guess, I would say either California or like New York, New Jersey.
Yeah, because I feel like they had to have been in that scene.
Let me check my trusty phone, guys.
Yes, let's do this.
But yeah,
San Francisco, boom.
Was it?
Oh, you did it. It was San Francisco.
Okay.
That's the thing is like they
were in the scene with the
Thrash.
You never hear about them. Sorry.
Yeah, they say they're currently in Aberdeen, Washington, but who knows? Who knows where they are? Who knows where they really get?
Well, they're on that West Coast scene.
The Bay Area thrash. They were around, but I just don't.
This is a great freaking.
I don't hear anyone really talk about these guys. So it's just one of those that maybe slipped through the cracks. I don't know.
Yeah.
But should we move on to the last song?
Yeah, Highway Star. This is the Deep Purple.
Deep Purple.
Whew. I'm glad they covered the purples.
The purples. I gotta listen to more Deep Purple. I've never even gone through one of their albums.
Yeah. Iron Maiden's gonna get you.
See the blood flow.
Yeah.
Watch out to
Here, sorry. Here is Highway Star, the last track. So am I starting?
Yeah, dude, this is yours.
I think that one was probably my least favorite. I felt like it just kind of went on for too long.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because they're covering a song that's probably like more than a decade old, you know, like early 70s or something, you know. I'm not the hugest Deep Purple fan. Like, I got a couple of their albums cheap. I've been through them a little bit.
Right.
But I'm not, you know, I know like a couple songs and that's kind of it, you know. But it just kind of felt like a little underwhelming compared to the rest of the album, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know it's like a cover and everything. It's like, but I don't know. I felt like it didn't add more to the album. It was just kind of tagged on at the end. So I'm just gonna give it a 6.
I'm gonna get a 7.5. Yeah, I'm not the biggest Deep Purple fan myself, you know. But it's a good song, you know. It just doesn't like get me all super excited, and you know, it's very iconic. But yeah, it just doesn't get me super pumped, you know. Yeah, sometimes, so I'll listen to this album, and then sometimes I'll like put it on my iPod, and sometimes I'll leave out Highway Star and have it end with Battalions, because then I feel like it's all metal church, you know, not like, you know, and there's some bands that, like, I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of like covers in albums. I don't like that there's certain albums that I really enjoy, but then there's that cover right in the middle of it or something, and I'm like, you know, like there's a few covers I really like. Like I thought like Freedom Call did a great job with Dancing with Tears in My Eyes. Yeah. That's a great cover of the Ultravox.
It's almost like 9 times out of 10 the original is just so much better.
Yeah. So I normally like the original more, but there are a few covers that I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. But yeah.
I don't know, Fu Manchu doing Godzilla. I actually really like that cover.
Oh yeah. The Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, Godzilla.
I like how it's just so slow.
Yeah, slow, just fuzzy.
Go.
Yeah,
Godzilla. You know, it's just like, I do like that cover. What
other covers you guys have?
Sorry. There are some good covers though.
Yeah.
What do you
give it, Chad?
Yeah,
I should probably start adding these scores up, make myself useful.
Probably a 7, because I mean, at least like I feel like they did metal churchify it, right? Like, kind of made it their own, I guess.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's
definitely heavier.
Yeah, that's, you know, like, and if it's a band that like, I think covers can be kind of cool, but yeah, out of like the rest of the songs, it was just kind of there. I could take it or leave it, honestly.
Yeah. Plus, the original probably had more keyboard stuff too, or something.
Oh, yeah, jeez. No.
Yeah, John Lord is like a demon on the keys.
Yeah, people love that keyboard player. Yeah. Ian's doing the scores right now. So Chad, why don't you do your closing thoughts first, and then Ian,
and then you could close out,
and then I'll close the album out. Yeah. Yeah. So, how was your experience, Chad?
I think I've used the words "pleasant surprise" before, but I fudging mean it this time. Yeah, dude, freaking. I know it like, I'm surprised I never really listened to these guys or gave them a chance, even with you kind of pushing them a bit, but should have pushed harder.
Well, I think the lyrics also help, because I feel like when I would just play it like in the car, like, it would just be there. Yeah. And I think now that we're all paying attention and have the lyrics, I think the lyrics and everything
helped.
Yeah, you know.
But I feel like I always do have like a soft spot just for any old school metal, for any thrash, just the beginnings, the freaking, you know, guys going out there and just freaking giving it their all and just going for it, and then creating tropes, using tropes. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's awesome for me. Like, so I think I have a soft spot, but yeah, I can't, it's going to be fun listening to this on my own and kind of getting more familiar with it, and then seeing what else stands out. Awesome pick, dude. Like, this was...
Thanks, man.
Like, this is a fun video.
Once we get the hard drives finalized, like you and me and everything,
we're so
like,
close.
We're close. Yeah, then it'd be a lot easier to listen to everything.
Or should I give the... I'll give the scores.
Get the scores first, and then do your thoughts.
Okay. So out of all the scores, Kevin gave it the highest score. He gave it an 8.88. Chad gave it the second highest. He gave it an 8.83, and I gave it the lowest with an 8.27. So it's all pretty up there.
Yeah.
The final score that we collectively gave it was 8.66. So pretty
respectable.
Pretty yeah.
I thought it'd be like in the low 8s. You know, I was surprised you guys gave so many 10s and stuff. But I feel like you guys really like after Gods of Wrath. Track 4, Gods of Wrath, I felt like you guys were like, oh yeah, like really into this album. Like Gods of Wrath really
dude,
like...
Gods of Wrath really blew me away. I was just like, dude, this should be this is like one of those classic like metal songs that I feel like we all should have known years ago. You know? Yeah. But that's okay. That's why we're doing it now. You know, so we can do it now. Yeah. And I was really surprised with this album. I'd only mostly like heard the stuff that you played. Right. And it's kind of funny because like where I'm coming from, getting into metal in high school, I was into a lot of stuff, but I wasn't into a lot of the traditional old school heavy metal stuff. I liked some of it, but in the last like 5 years or however many years, all of a sudden older music started sounding good to me. Same thing with a lot of classic rock stuff. Like, I don't know, there's just something about it that I'm like nostalgic for it or something.
Well, because I mean, even when you were a kid, you had to have like listened to some of it and just been like, oh, dude.
Well, even when we were in high school, I was kind of the one that got more into the heavy metal stuff because, like, I got more into the Queenstrike, more Fates Warning, more Sabotage. Like, that sound, I was getting more into those 80s kind of bands that weren't like the hair metal, but they were kind of like the prog metal, but kind of flirting with the heavy metal, you know. Like, so I was getting into some of those bands, but even I wasn't like, I don't consider myself like a 100% heavy metal guy. You know what I mean? But there are some bands where I'm like, yeah, dude, this is great.
Yeah. So it for me, it's just fun to kind of dig back and listen to all these bands and learn to appreciate them in a new light that I feel like I didn't really have back in high school. You know. Yeah. So,
but you were getting you were getting into some other stuff at that time. That was you know, you were jumping into a lot of other genres and things, and so it was it's all good. I guess I'll close it out. I really enjoyed this album. I definitely support the artist, guys. You know, we had a great time going over it. I just think it's pretty underrated, and I like that they have some personality with this album. You know, it's not like one stick. It does change up quite a bit from song to song. And yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed this album, so I'm glad I picked it. And I'm actually kind of surprised you guys liked it this much.
It was really good.
But then again, maybe I'm not surprised because you were like listening to Dio and listening to like this past week you've been listening to a lot of stuff, and so I was like, well, that's gotta do this now. You know,
well, that's why in the last few years, for some reason, like because in high school, literally, I listened to some Queensryche. We had a greatest hits of Dio. We had this greatest hits of Judas Priest. But I never really jumped into their albums and stuff. And in the last like couple years, it's almost like it feels like throughout my 20s or something, like I was just into so many other genres and so many like exploring all this other stuff that I just kind of like put metal on hold for a long time. I was still listening to plenty of metal throughout those years, but high school was the time that I got into a ton of metal, and then I got burned out or something. And then in the last like 3 years or so, I've been kind of going back and being like all the stuff that used to like. I remember that time you were playing Iced Earth in the car.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! I was like, we were driving. So we were like driving down to Utah to like Brandon's wedding or something.
Right.
And you know, me and Kevin were like switching off picks, and I was just like, gosh, please don't play Iced Earth. And Kevin plays this whole Iced Earth album, and I was just kind of like, gosh, I can't take it anymore. We're like stuck in traffic and stuff going down, but like now I like Iced Earth. Now I enjoy a lot of those kind of more traditional like kind of sounding metal. Like for some reason in high school, the sort of gruff Dio-esque vocals that like Sabotage had or some power metal people had. I was kind of Astral Doors. I was just kind of like, guys, it all just sounds like boring metal stuff. Like I wanted stuff that wasn't just like metal. Whereas nowadays, I don't know, this just metal stuff just sounds really good, and I'm able to enjoy it, and I think that might be, we could talk about this in another Q&A video more.
Sure. I feel like there's a lot we could go on about this.
But. Yeah, because I feel like a lot of times with music, sometimes you're just not ready for it at a certain time, or you're just so into other things that you don't really have room for things to get into right now, you know? And I think that's probably how I was, and that's why in the last couple of years I've been like, Slayer's pretty good, you know?
That blew my fudging mind.
You know,
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah,
I've been trying to get you guys to like Slayer for
I
years.
know, for years. Like, I mean, it's you never know when someone's gonna get into something, you know.
Or when
And
the
it's
sounds
fun.
like when they're gonna give the sound more of a chance, when it's gonna click, when it's gonna hit.
Yeah.
I guess for me, the Nightwish and all kinds of stuff. But
I was trying for years.
Yeah, I know. I know.
But it's cool that stuff is like clicking now years later for all of us.
Yeah. And you know, I mean, you already, if you're familiar with our channel, you already know we like a variety of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we're doing all sorts of metal, all sorts of like non-metal stuff. Like we like a variety of music.
Next
so
up,
we're not
Dan
like,
Deacon. No, I'm
you know, can anyone do some Dan Deacon?
Sorry, I totally derailed you.
No, you're fine. I feel like there is something about the heavy metal sound that I like, and that's another band, like Virgin Steel's another band that I got really into because they had that heavy metal vibe, but then they had that symphonic and stuff, and I was like, oh yeah. And so a lot of great bands, you know. But I'm glad we went through this. I'll stop rattling on, but definitely like check out like you know, some of the 70,000 Tons of Metal, especially like the recap videos for the 2018 one, because there they've got like, forgive me, the other guy, I don't know his name, but they've got like Mike Howe and the other guy like talking, and they're talking about like metal music and everything. And so cool. Like I said, I was feeling like doing this album because like a week ago I was feeling really nostalgic, and I was like watching some recap footage of 70,000 Tons of Metal, and I was like, oh man, that was so great. And like these guys just seem like really good guys, you know. So anyways, thanks for joining us for Metal Church, and anything last things you guys want to add? Are you guys good?
Just one last thing. This is a metal classic. This is a metal classic, and
we have,
now my eyes are I can see now. I don't need glasses. This is I am glad you shared this album because this album is really really good.
Yeah.
So I'm done.
Cool. So Chad, you got the next pick. So awesome possum, and
yeah.
forgot legend. See you guys.